Yo, 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 what is up, you delinquent motherfuckers? It's your boy Slugger Suitor coming at you with another banger of a video. So, today we are going to be talking about my experience with Deliriants. Now, many of you might be asking, what the fuck are Deliriants? Now, there's a whole bunch of different Deliriants, right? But I've only tried two of the basic ones, which are the most known type of Deliriants, which you probably have in your medicine cabinet. Now, I do not condone any of this. You should never try anything that I talk about in these videos, ever. I do not condone anything associated with what I'm talking about. This is for educational purposes only. So now that we got that out of the way, let's dive in. So, my very first experience with deliriums was with Robitussin. Now, you're probably thinking, oh shit, I got Robitussin in my cabinet. See, that's what I thought I would say about 5 years ago now, when I first tried this. It was going on to the evening. My parents had just left to go to, I don't even know where they were going at this point. I don't even remember. They left, I think they went to dinner with someone, alright? And in my young adolescent mind, I thought to myself, why don't I just try some of this Robitussin, alright? I've heard of Goblin, which many of you probably know him. I heard Goblin talking about it in this video. One of the first videos I've ever watched by him was him talking about his experience with Robitussin, or DXM as it's called, which is more the proper name for it is DXM. Anyways, so I bust out the Robitussin. I bust out my cup. I bust out the Sprite. I probably poured about 3/4 of the Robitussin in my cup and filled the rest of it with Sprite. I mixed it up a little bit. Awful. This shit tastes terrible. I mean, it's I don't even know how to describe the taste. It's just ugh. It just tastes like sick, okay? That's the best way I can describe it. Now, 3/4 of Robitussin, honestly, isn't that much Robitussin. Alright, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But the second drug is where, I dive a little bit deeper. But let's continue with the first story. So, I start drinking the cup. Awful taste. And I would say it probably took about 30 to 40 minutes to kick in. I remember sitting on my floor in my room. At the time, I had a silver jewel body with a 5 mg Nick menthol. It was menthol or mint pod. And I remember I was enjoying myself, relaxing, hitting my jewel pod. And all of a sudden, everything just starts to get a little bit more shaky. The best way I can describe it is, when you're out in the sun for a really long time, you get really hot. It's like the visuals of that, but not feeling hot. And everything's way brighter. I remember just looking up, feeling super dizzy, standing up, and I was like, what the fuck? I remember going downstairs, and I was having trouble walking down the stairs, right? And I remember going downstairs and looking in the mirror. Now, when I looked in the mirror, that's when everything sort of changed. I looked in the mirror and I almost didn't notice myself. I didn't quite really understand what was going on with me. Because again, I was young. I was super, super young. Like, I was little, man. And I remember looking in the mirror, walking back upstairs, laying in my bed, and passing out. And believe it or not, my parents came home and they even questioned me. They're like, did you get into the Robitussin? They're like, this was sealed and there's only about 1/4 of it left. Did you get into the Robitussin? And I was already like half asleep and they woke me up and asked me this. Because at that time, I got caught. I got caught vaping at that time. Or it was pills. I don't remember. But I just remember me being as drowsy as I was, just saying, nope, I did not take anything. And they left me alone, never mentioned again. Now, this second substance is where it gets a little bit interesting. Now, the second substance I'm talking about, which is categorized as a deliriant, is Benadryl. Now, you're probably also thinking, I have hella Benadryl in my cabinet. That's what I was also thinking, I would say about 3 to 4 years ago. Again, still very young. I decided I wouldn't mind trying Benadryl. One of my friends, we'll call him Bernard. Now, one of my homies, Bernard, just recently started experimenting with Benadryl, right? And he told me about his experiences, and it piqued my interest, all right? So, I went upstairs to my room. I went ahead and went in my parents' bathroom, and I got a fresh new pack of Benadryl. I opened the Benadryl, and I probably took about, I want to say it was 7 to 8 Benadryl tablets. Now, that's a lot of Benadryl, alright? 7 to 8 tablets is a lot of Benadryl. Now, at the time, I was actually on FaceTime with Bernard, because he was also doing a Benadryl trip at the time. This was before I even experienced with psilocybin. So, I consume these pills, and I go downstairs to my basement, right? And I remember just sitting on my carpet, and almost out of nowhere, it just gets quiet. Like, even like the sounds of the house I can't hear. And all of a sudden my vision starts shifting. It feels like someone put a old school camera lens, right? An old school camera lens on my eyes. It felt very weird, and definitely way more stronger than the Robitussin. Now, I remember going upstairs after I was chilling in the basement, hitting the silver body jewel, chilling. I remember I started walking upstairs, right? And all of a sudden, I started hearing footsteps right behind me. And not just any footsteps, just like hard, loud footsteps right behind me. And I remember I just started running up the stairs. I mean, straight running up the stairs. And when I made it into my room, I barely closed my door. I have this table that leaves a little gap of space in my door when I open it, right? And I didn't close my door fully. And I remember I went and laid right on my bed, and I looked to the right, and sitting in the corner of my room is this tall shadow figure. I can't describe him. He didn't have a top. It wasn't the Hat Man. He didn't have a top hat. It was just this dark blackness. Alright? And I remember being scared as fuck. And I went to go tell Bernard what was happening, because, we were on FaceTime, and I didn't realize, but my phone had actually died probably a good 30 minutes ago. Which means when I was talking on the phone, I wasn't talking to Bernard. But I swear to God, I remember something responding to me. But anyways, that's my experience with the Deliriants. Very scary drug, alright? I would not recommend at all. I wouldn't recommend any drug, honestly. Not at all. But Deliriants, I would stay far and clear from Deliriants, especially from Datura. Now, that's for another video. Datura's for another video. But I appreciate all y'all motherfuckers for tuning in, showing love, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.